Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Well, it is 3:49 a.m. and I've been asleep since like 9:45. I pretty much slept this entire day with the exception of about 3 hours where I made videos. And this is not, a lot of people were like, oh, is this a sad one? I don't want a sad one. I don't want a sad one either tonight. I'm tired of being sad. So this is not going to be a sad vlog. If I start going in the direction of being sad, I will stop it. I'm just not really in the mood to have a sad vlog. So this will not be a sad one. I think I just needed today to be sad, you know, for my friend. And I've learned that as far as grieving, like when you're feeling something, just feel it. I was emotionally exhausted today, like literally all day long. And I pulled it together because I was like, I want to make some videos. Like, I need to get out of this funk. Alex texted me like in the afternoon. He had to go to work today. He texted me and he said, do you want to go to a movie tonight? We were going to go see Monn. We both just want a break from this depression session that we're going through. Because, well, not depression, but you know what I'm saying. Like, the sadness that we're going through. We both just want a break from it because it's just like, it's overwhelming at this point. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I reached out to Melissa and I was like, do you and Jason want to do something? Because they always cheer us up. And so she was like, yeah, what do you want to do? And then we were trying to make plans. And we were going to go to dinner and a movie. And then we decided just to go to dinner. So we went to Cheesecake Factory tonight. And I was supposed to be on program today, but I didn't. I had an Impossible Burger. I think it was actually really good for me to do that. I want to say one thing real quick, is that somebody said something about the sound on the last couple of vlogs, and I think it's because I had my fanny pack behind there, so I don't have it tonight behind there. I've been doing it because the screen's been kind of wobbling, but I tightened it up before I left, so I'm hoping that it won't do that, and I'm hoping that it won't fall. So let me know if the sound is a little bit better, because if it is, then that means that it's because of the fanny pack that was behind there. I think it was maybe Maybelline. Maybe it's Maybelline. I think it was because it was like muffling the sound back there, but yeah, even when I filmed videos today, I did this like Peterisms video, and I wanted to talk kind of about what I was going through and just about moving through instead of moving on, and I just started sobbing in it, you know, and I would like do a video and then I would get off from doing the video and I'd be rendering it and I would just be so sad again, you know, and I just had all these thoughts rushing through my head. I won't talk about that today because I know people are kind of like, they've had a lot of hearing it, so I will talk about other stuff. But last night after I got done vlogging, I was talking to people about my friend that passed, and I ended up, like, I couldn't sleep last night. I had horrible nightmares all night long. I kept on having this repetitive nightmare of being in, like, my bedroom that I was growing up in. I had it again tonight, you guys. I don't know why I'm having this bedroom, or this dream. I don't know if it's, like, I know that this is going to sound strange, but I very much believe in spirit giving us messages. And I don't know if, like, and my friend Scotty didn't know about, he had never been to that house. He never saw that bedroom. So I don't know what the message is I'm supposed to be receiving, or if it's going to some subconscious recesses of my brain and pulling it up. But I continue to have, and it's just me and my mom in the house in the nightmare. I continue to have these nightmares about this room, the bedroom that I grew up in. And it's in the middle of the night, and it's pitch black, and I'm in bed, and I have to, like, get up and find my way around. And maybe it's subconscious for me feeling like I'm in the dark and I can't find my way. I don't know. Maybe that's what that is. Or something like that. But for me to continue to have this nightmare, like, last night I had it before I went to go vlog. I had it back when I came home from vlogging. Alex had to wake me up again last night because I was moaning in my sleep. Again, this nightmare of being in my bedroom that I grew up in. And nothing horrible happened in that bedroom. It wasn't like that. You know, other than the alcoholic stuff with my mom, I have really pretty good memories of that house. I loved growing up in that house. And it's just like she and I, and we're like in these two rooms and in the nightmare. And like tonight, in one of them, I was like, getting dressed in the dark, and I couldn't find my clothes. It was scary. I don't know. And then, like, I knew I had to get outside, and I knew once I got outside I'd be fine, but, like, I was really scared to go, like, down the stairs, which are at the end of the hallway in my nightmare, because I thought there was somebody, like, waiting down there for me. It was just really scary. And then, if that wasn't the worst, tonight, I took the dogs outside before I left to go vlog. And I got this leftover fountain pop that I got from Cheesecake Factory. And then I took the dogs outside, and somebody, like, way off, like, down the street, like, coughed once. It was like, like that. Oh my God, the dogs became hound dogs, like, in 2 seconds. And they were like, oh, in the middle of the night. I was like, oh my God. And that scared me. So, anyway, I just didn't get any sleep last night whatsoever. And Alex left for work, and I had to be up at... So, the graduation today started at 10. I knew I needed to probably be there by, like, 9:30. So, I got up at 8. I started getting ready. I could hardly see through my contacts. And I just kind of broke down in the bathroom. I just was, like, so overwhelmed. I was like, I can't do this. And I don't, to be honest with you, there were a couple people that said some things in the vlog. You can't beat me up any more than I've already beat myself up for not going to my nephew's graduation. I talked to Caroline about it, like, so if you want to leave the nasty comments, you can leave the nasty comments, but I've already beat myself up about it. I was exhausted. I've been through a lot the last couple days. I had to make a decision, and I was like, you know, I need to take care of myself this morning. Because Caroline the other day was like, I think it's stupid that you're going to come on Saturday. And I was like, no, Caroline, I don't want to be there. She's like, well, if you want to be there, you can be there. Which is the conversation we had at the school. What's interesting is, today I called her, and I was like, Caroline, I'm sorry I wasn't there. And she goes, what are you talking about? And I was like, for David's graduation. She goes, I didn't think you were coming. She goes, we talked at the house, and you said that you would see me for the open house, because they're having an open house this next weekend, and which Alex is going to be out of town for, so I'm going to go over there and help her early, get set up and stuff. And I was like, no, I said that I wanted to come today. And she was like, no. She was like, I told you it was stupid for you to come. She said that there wasn't going to be enough places for people to sit, that her stepson and his wife, they were not coming. And she said, so I told you not to come. And I was like, oh, I don't remember that. And she was like, don't feel bad about it at all, Peter. She was like, I didn't expect you to be there this morning. She was like, it was just Mike and I. And I was like, okay. So I think his girlfriend showed up later to the graduation, but so that was kind of a relief, because I felt horrible about it. But she started laughing on the phone. She was like, I don't know why you're feeling bad about it. She was like, I didn't even think that you were coming. She was like, I didn't expect you to be there. So there's that. But needless to say, as someone said in my vlog, you always talk about suiting up and showing up. I do always talk about suiting up and showing up, and I didn't this morning. I was exhausted. I've had 2 friends pass in the last week, which is no excuse. And I had to make a decision, and I did. So, I'm a human being. And, but I also, today, don't have a problem owning situations where maybe I could have done a little bit better. David didn't care at all. She was like, Peter, she was like, he didn't even know that we were there because we were up in the stands. So that was this morning, and then I slept in, and then I got up, and I was like moping around the house. It's very much for me, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like, so when I look at my life kind of in segments. I look at my life as like before I got sober. Like, I look at my life as like my childhood, and that would go up to when I graduated from high school. And then I kind of look at after graduation to when I got sober, that period. And then I look at like after I got sober, and that part I would consider like from the time that I got sober to when my ex and I broke up. And then after that, well, when my ex and I broke up, I left working in treatment and my mom passed away. That was all another era for me. And that was a huge era for me in my life. And then now, the part that I'm in now, which is past that, of meeting Alex and, you know, our new friends and living at the condo, and everything about my life is completely different. I only have a few things left from that past life that, and I think what's hard for me sometimes about it is that's like, that past life is associated with my mother. So like I do have Caroline, but like my dad and my stepmom have kind of been a constant through all of it. Tanya has been a constant through all of it, all these different eras, except for like, you know, before that, but really the last 2 eras, the majority of my life. So like I worry sometimes how I'll be if something would happen to any of them, because I think that would really just rock my foundation, although I do believe I'm a strong person today and I can get through things. So I don't know, like today, my ex won't really talk to anybody from the past except for me, and we don't talk. Like I hadn't talked to him in like 5 years. So I had to reach out to him to let him know that his friend had passed away, which that wasn't fun. You know, last night I told Alex, I was like, do you care if I reach out to him? He was like, no, not at all. You need to reach out to him and let him know. And so, like I got up today because I had texted him last night some stuff about like finding out about the service and things like that. And so I woke up today to a text from him saying that hurricane season was like Scotty's favorite. I had forgotten about this, and that he would get the maps and he would like chart it out, and he loved to. I remember Anderson Cooper was doing some, like one year he came to our house and he didn't want to leave and go do anything because he was watching the coverage of like the weather on CNN or whatever it was with Anderson Cooper. And so I woke up to that message that today started all of that or something, the weather watch or whatever it was, because he always wanted to be a meteorologist, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, I woke up to that and I just, like Alex is really, like today was, I think, the hard, honestly, like I know this is gonna sound strange, I think today was the hardest day for Alex. He came home from work and I said, how are you doing? And he just kind of like melted and he was like, I'm just not doing okay. He was like, it's the day after everything is done and I don't really know how to feel now. And I talk about this on here, you know, with grieving, that it's after the fact that people a lot of times don't know how to. So I'm trying to be there for him, and I'm having all these feelings and emotions and stuff, and I was like, I just cannot, like, I have got to have like a cheerful day. Like I have to have some kind of cheerful day. So I did my best to do that. I mean, I didn't do anything phenomenal, but like I tried to do a review video and a drama video to kind of cheer me up a little bit. And it helped, you know. I talked on the phone to some friends and laughed and some stuff like that. But it wasn't that I didn't think that I should feel sad or that I shouldn't grieve or any of that kind of stuff. It was that so many constant days in a row, I think is starting to take a toll on me, and I don't think that's healthy, and I needed to kind of regroup. So Alex came home, I was getting the videos up, then he and I hung out and we talked for a little bit. We were going to go see Monn tonight because we really want to see that horror movie. So if anybody's seen it, leave it in the comment section below if it was good. But we ended up just going to dinner and stuff. Melissa and Jason and Alex wanted to go see Rocket Man. I was really not in the mood to go see Rocket Man. I wanted to see Monn because Alex had sent me the preview for it. So we ended up going to Cheesecake Factory and we were there for like 2 hours, and it was funny because we used to go to Champs all the time, and we would get the Mile High nachos, all of us back in the day. Like we would each of us literally get like the Mile High nachos as a meal. Well, Champs closed down in Indianapolis. I think they have one location open downtown still. So we walked in and it was like a half an hour wait. And this guy that used to be a waiter at Champs, like he'd be the waiter that we would always, the four of us, when we would go, he'd always be like our waiter. Alex like saw him and he was like, hey, he was like, I just had a table open up, request me. And so Alex went to the, like we had just started waiting, went to the the check-in or the desk or whatever, and was like, can we like request so-and-so? And so they got us sat down really quick, which was which was nice. And Alex was laughing. He was like, to not have to wait at a club because of VIP is one thing. He was like, but to be rushed through Cheesecake Factory because you know the waiter is another. And we had a great time. It was fun. We laughed. They were so good for me to just kind of, we talked about all kinds of stuff. They talked about the race because they love the race. And yeah, it was nice. It was to get my head off things. But we got back to the house, and like on the way home, I like looked over at Alex, and he was like crying. And I think he's really struggling, enjoying a moment because Jason can't. And so I think that like any moment of fun that he has, like he doesn't know what to do with that right now. And we actually talked a lot about it because they had met him at the Rev thing. They had never met him before, but so I think like it kind of brought up a lot of stuff for Alex. I don't know. Well, we got home and I said, just let me lay down for 10 minutes. I'm so tired. And he was like, do you want to watch RuPaul's Drag Race tonight or not? I already know who won. And I told him, I said, stay off social media because it's been all over Twitter. And I was like, do you want to watch RuPaul? He was like, do you want to watch RuPaul's Drag Race tonight or not? And I was like, I'm really tired. Just let me lay down for 15 minutes. I think it was like 9:45 because I said, at 10 o'clock, we'll get up and watch it. And he goes, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm tired. I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning. He was like, he goes, and I didn't get any sleep last night. He was like, let's just, he almost was going to call in today and not go to his meetings and stuff because he was so tired. He was like, let's just watch it tomorrow. And I said, okay. So I was laying there. I like checked some stuff on my phone, and then I was like laying there. My husband falls asleep really fast, but within like 5 minutes, he was like kicking, and he was like, And so I woke him up, and I was like, babe, are you okay? And he was like, I was having the worst nightmares. And I said, oh, are you okay? Do you think you can go back to sleep? He was like, half asleep, he's like, yeah. 5 minutes later, he's like kicking again. So I was like, well, what are you dreaming about? And he couldn't remember, but so yeah, that was our day. And what else? I don't know. I know I say that these vlogs aren't going to be long, and then they end up being like an hour, but tonight probably really won't be. What time am I at right now? Like 18 minutes. Tonight probably really won't be long. I can't believe that I tightened that up and it worked. I tightened it up with a knife. I'm so technological. So today started Peter's summer reading, and I really haven't done a whole lot of reading today, but it's a spooky summer reading. And I am reading Helter Skelter. So that is the extra credit book for Peter's book club. It's about the Charles Manson murders. We're reading that June, July, and August. It's just, you don't have to. It's just the extra one. But I've never made it past like page 51 or 81. So I went in the other day, and I think there's 13 weeks of summer until Labor Day, something like that. So I went in and I divided it by, what is this? They have a new sign here that's like flashing. That's weird. And I divided it by like 13 days, and I can't remember or 13 weeks, and it comes up to like 50 pages or something, like 49, 50 pages, I think, like a week. And then I went in and I put post-it notes of how much I have to read each week, which actually doesn't come out to be, it's like 50 pages, I think, a week, which isn't too bad when, you think about it over a 7-day period. So what is that, 7 pages a day? And then we're reading the John Wayne Gacy Killer Clown book this month. And what else? James Patterson. Quickie, I'm doing a read-along for that. So we're doing The Quickie and Murder House. And it's like a huge group reads that I'm doing. I don't know. There's a lot of people said they were going to do it on there. And then I'm doing What else? Yeah, I don't know. Today I did a review of that book, Lost Girls, that we read for the book club. That was horrible. The last one that we read, it was so bad. But everybody says Killer Clown is really good. So I started listening to Sean David Hutchinson. He's one of my favorite authors. He has a new book that just came out called Brave Face. It's his memoir of coming out when he was in high school. He's like my age. He's like 4 years younger than me. And so it's so funny. Parts of it are so funny and remind me of growing up as a kid. He's talking about this one part about he's working at a grocery store and his friend is like, you got to get a girlfriend, man. And so he starts talking to this girl that like rings the bells at Salvation Army, and they end up like dating. And then she like, they're like watching Aladdin, and he like in his head knows he's gay. And so she like, he's like trying to, no, it was they had gone to the movie theater to see Aladdin, and she like the whole time just wanted to have her tongue down his throat. So she had him over to her house, and he was watching The Little Mermaid, and he's so funny when he's like writing it. He's like, that Ursula was like one bad chick. And he was like, I was trying to watch Ursula, and here she was, I had an octopus on the couch, and he was like, so I had to run to the bathroom. Because she said something to him like, he tried to pull away, and she goes, you act like you're not interested. She grabs his crotch, and she goes, but this says otherwise. And he's like, hey, I'm a 14-year-old kid. What do you expect? And so he's like sitting in the bathroom, and she's like, are you okay? And he's like, can you just take me home? I feel like I'm going to be sick. And so she takes him home. This whole dating thing happens over the course of about 2 weeks. And, so what did he say? Oh my God, this one thing. He was talking about this other girl that he dated when he was like in 6th grade. And he said the whole thing lasted about 2 weeks and felt more like homework than anything else because they passed so many notes. He said it felt, he goes, and my first girlfriend was in 6th grade and it lasted 2 weeks long. We passed so many notes that it felt like homework. And so then he was talking about, it's so good, you guys. It's real. I mean, even if you're not like, you know, gay or relate to that at all, you would enjoy it. It's really good. It's called Brave Face by Sean David Hutchinson. He wrote The Edge of the Universe, and he wrote, what's it called? Oh God, I love that book so much. We Are the Ants. He's a phenomenal writer. And he does like coming out stories or gay young adult, but there's always like a mix to it. Like We Are the Ants was like this kid who was processing his boyfriend's suicide, but like he also was being abducted by aliens at the same time. It's really well done. It's super interesting. I think I read that when I was writing my book. I can't remember. Like around that time, I listened to it. I read some great books around that time that I was writing my book. I read Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Hilaire Sainz. That was one of the most beautiful books I've ever read in my entire life. I think the sequel is actually supposed to come out this year. And it's a young adult book. And it's about Chicano culture in Texas or Arizona, I think Texas, and it's these two kids and their friendship over a long period of time, and it takes place in the 80s. It's just really beautifully done. And then afterwards, I got done with that because so many people had recommended Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. So then after that, he wrote a book called Last Night I Sang to the Monster, and I listened to it on Audible, and I didn't really know anything about it. I just knew that when I read him, I just loved his work. And Last Night I Sang to the Monsters is, to this day, probably one of the finest books of addiction literature that I have ever read, if not the finest. And it's about this kid, and he's 18, and he ends up going to this treatment facility. I think that he's a heroin addict, and it's like this treatment facility kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. There's like 30 people there, and his roommate is this guy that's like in his late 50s, and it's just really about the changes. I wept reading it. It was so good. And but then a couple years ago, 2 years ago, he had a book that came out, and I just didn't like it at all. I just was like, I mean, you can't like every book. It's like John Green. I love John Green's work. And Fault in Our Stars. It's been so long since I read that book and watched that movie. Anyway, Fault in Our Stars was the first book that I read of his, and I actually read it. God, this is really gonna like date this. Was because I was watching Tyler Oakley book and he recommended it. Because Tyler Oakley used to like go in the sets of all the movies, and he was like really, like, he got to be friendly with John Green. I wonder if it's because of YouTube, because John Green is half of the Vlogbrothers. But anyway, The Fault in Our Stars. So I read that, and then I read all of his books. Like literally, I just bang, 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 back to back read all the books. And to this day, like, my favorites are different than everybody else's. Well, I mean, I think The Fault in Our Stars is probably my favorite. My second favorite is Paper Towns. I thought the movie was horrible, but I loved the book. And then I really liked An Abundance of Catherines. And then I would have to say Looking for Alaska, and then Turtles All the Way Down. But Will Grayson, which he wrote with David Levithan, that was probably one of my favorite books of his, because he's like co-authored books with people. But people usually, their favorite is Looking for Alaska. I just didn't relate to it the way that people did. It was a really depressing book. It's a book about a boarding school and a death that occurs there, and I just thought it was really tragic. And I don't know, maybe I should try it again sometime. But his latest book was called Turtles All the Way Down, and some people loved it, and I just did not relate to this book at all. I just did not enjoy it. And I did a review of it, and I just said in the review that I didn't really like it, and people really were not happy. They were like, this book was so well researched. I didn't think it was well researched at all. I thought it felt lazy. And then around that time, I also, like, the first young adult book that I read when I was reading young adult books was Robin Schneider's The Beginning of Everything. And I know that because it's the very first audiobook that I bought on Audible. And it's about this guy, and he becomes friends with this girl. I can't remember the whole story to it, but anyway, it's about their friendship. It's very John Greenish. But Robin Schneider is a really underestimated young adult author. She's fantastic. And the book was really, really well done. And then I read, this book just totally changed my life as far as like how, like, there's so many great, I feel like we're getting away from it a little bit now because that genre is so, well, it's not really a genre, but it's so saturated. But young adult authors, like, some of them are just absolutely fantastic. But I read Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLaria, and it was about this girl who's, I talked about this on here before. Her sister passed away in a tragic accident, which is part of what you find out in the book. And so she goes to the school where, I can't remember how it is. She either changes schools and her English teacher is new to the school, or she goes to the it's her first year at the high school and her sister's there and was there, and so her teacher knows her, and they have this assignment where they have to write love letters to dead celebrities. And so she writes like all of these, not love letters, but letters for their life, about their life. And she writes to like Amelia Earhart and Marilyn Monroe and Kurt Cobain, and I mean, all of these just, and so the people that she picks is interesting. Like, she's really kind of obsessed with Kurt Cobain in the book. But, like, they're introduced to her. So, like, her sister loves certain certain Kurt Cobain's or Nirvana songs. And that's why she wears her t-shirt, and she becomes kind of obsessed with Nirvana. And that's why she starts writing to Kurt Cobain and trying to understand his death at the same time, like, trying to understand her process with her sister's passing. It's really, really well done. And I waited years for her to come out with another book. She finally did last year, and I have it on Audible. I bought it when it came out, and I still haven't listened to it yet. It's about, like, this girl and her mother, and it's, like, her mother's childhood, and it goes back and forth. I shouldn't panic, because I haven't read it, and if before I read the first one, I probably wouldn't have said great things about it, but I just was like, To this day, you don't hear a lot of people talk about Love Letters to the Dead. And it was like probably one of the best books I've ever read. That's young adult. I just was absolutely floored by it. Is there like, oh, this is all like wet in here. I have this FedEx guy that keeps on dropping off this FedEx package. I have no idea what it is, but we literally get these notices on our door like every single day, and they're always there when I'm like inside the house. I've never once, I think this is probably my 5th one I've gotten. Never once have I heard the door ring. Never once have the dogs gone crazy because there's somebody at the door, and I'm like, how is he coming and trying to deliver this package, and I'm not even hearing him? I don't believe that he actually is trying to deliver this package. Tomorrow we have this thing that we're going to, that Alex got invited to, that's in the afternoon. And then it's like from 2 to 4. And then, let's see, that's it. Then we're going to watch RuPaul's Drag Race and maybe a movie. We might go see Monn tomorrow. And then Monday, it's back to business. I have training. And then Tuesday, my meeting. Wednesday, oh, what did I just do? I didn't want to do that. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, I don't really have a whole lot towards the end of the week. And then Alex leaves to go to Chicago for Spring Awakening. I think this is another reason why he's struggling, because he was supposed to go to Spring Awakening with Jason. And now he's going with his friend Amy, who went with us to the Celebration of Life the other night, because she's who he met Alex, Alex met Jason through. So instead, Amy's going. So I think Alex is really having a hard time because of that. So that's, well, you know, I'll have the funeral sometime this week. I don't know when, but I mean, I'm assuming if my friend passed on Friday night, they'll probably have it, what, Thursday or Friday? He had a really small family. It was his mom and 2 sisters left, so I can't imagine that they'll do like a viewing one day and a funeral the next. I'm assuming they'll do it all together. And then Alex is going to Chicago, so next weekend is PP and Peter's Bachelor Weekend. We haven't had a Bachelor Weekend in forever. Then I don't know what I'll do. I might go to the casino one night and probably read a lot, get the patio done. Still been meaning to buy my plants for the patio. I think that's about probably it that I'll do. It smells real earthy out here. It was raining earlier. I swear to God, we have had so much rain this year. I keep on meaning to get on Wayfair and see how much covers would cost for our patio furniture. We were talking to Melissa and Jason about that tonight, and they were like, that's why we don't have patio furniture outside other than just these like chairs, because the stuff got so mildewed the one year that we had really nice stuff out there, because it rains so much, or it's really dewy in the mornings. Now our cushions aren't like that. They're not like cloth cushions. They're like a plastic container, but not plastic container, but plastic feeling. I don't honestly, like, people have been talking about how much it always rains here in like May and late summer or early summer. I don't remember Indiana being this much rain. I honestly don't. Like, I remember Indiana being pretty dry in the summer. The fact that it's raining this much is kind of strange to me. I don't remember it being like this. I don't know what I'm going to wear tomorrow to this thing. I was just thinking about that. Well, maybe tomorrow, we'll just see how tired we are. Maybe, I was going to say, maybe tomorrow we'll go see that movie tomorrow night. Have you guys heard about this? Monn, it's supposed to be really good. It's with that Octavia Spencer. Oh, she looks so good in it. And she has, like, the kids come over to her house and, like, party, and then it's like, she starts, like, blackmailing them with it or something. I don't know, but it looks really scary. I love good scary movies, especially in the summer. I've seen I've like been watching the Jawses. I was telling them that tonight. I think I might go this way. Maybe not. That road is like really small. Lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop. Ba-dum, bum, bum. Pee-Pee was coughing like crazy all day today. And Boo Radley his reverse sneezing was so bad the last 2 days. And, like, he seems fine when he's having it, but he just, like, walks around, he's like, and, the vet had said that that's what it was, and she's like, it's going to get worse with allergies season, so I don't know if that's what's going on with him, but he seems completely fine. So if he does it again tomorrow, I'm going to call her on Monday and see what happens. But Pee-Pee coughed, like, it was constant today. It was like, there was a couple hours where it was like 3 times in a row, and then an hour later, 3 times in a row. And I think the weather outside he's struggling with. I think the pollen and stuff like that. I mean, dogs supposedly get allergies too. I think it's like making it harder for him. I don't know, the heat maybe. But there's been a cool breeze out in the air too. He loves to just walk outside in the yard forever. I had to go out there and pick him up today. He was out there so long. He was out there for like 35 minutes. He loved just walking around in the yard. He just walks and he stops and he looks up and he goes, and I feel bad having him come in any earlier than that. They'll just walk around in our backyard forever back there. It's nice. Tucker usually comes up first on the patio, and then Boo Radley comes running inside, and then he like comes over to me, and then he goes running back out, and he goes and hangs out with Pee-Pee again, and he kind of follows him around the yard, and Pee-Pee just stays. And when Pee-Pee's ready to come in, he'll come in, but not a second sooner. So I had to go out there and get him today, because I had to leave and go get some stuff done. But yeah, little guy worries me. We're not going to get sad tonight, though. I said we're not going to talk about that. I feel like I do need some things to kind of distract me from being... I mean, it's fine to be sad about, you know, losing a friend and stuff, but I don't want to think... It's fine to be sad about losing friends and all this stuff, but I don't want to think about it 24 hours a day. I really don't. And they wouldn't want me to think about it 24 hours a day either, you know? I don't want to just be stuck in it. Going down to see my friends and going to the funeral will be good for me. And it'll be... My ex isn't going to go to the funeral. And it'll be like a good way for me to kind of like see them and, you know, laugh and tell stories about Scotty. And I feel real disconnected. That's the other thing. I mean, you know, they're all down there and I'm up here, so it's like I feel real disconnected. And unless I'm talking to them on the phone about it, it's like I don't really have anybody to talk to. That, like, Alex never met him, you know. So I don't know. mustard plant is getting high again out here. It looks pretty. Stand By Me was on TV the other night. I hadn't seen that movie in so long. My God, when I was watching it, I was like, this movie makes me feel really, really old. I was thinking about this the other day. You know, like, if you're my age, like, I remember when my mom was like 40 and I was like in high school. No, she was 28 when she had me, so I would have been 12. So she would have been my age, and I was probably, you know, like, I was like 18 when she was my age. Something like that. So I remember like seeing her yearbook pictures. Have I talked about this on here? Like, this really wigged me out the other night when I was thinking about it. And I have to tell you something too, that these nightmares I keep on having. I keep on having the weirdest nightmares about something I'm going to tell you in just a second. But anyway, as far as like prediction kind of stuff. But my mother, in her yearbooks, like, they look so dated, like, so old-timey, and, like, from, you know, yesteryear and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I wonder, like, when I look at the pictures of me from when I was in high school, yeah, they look, like, dated. Do you know what I mean? But they don't look like, I don't know if maybe it's because they were in black and white back in the day or whatever. But, like, or the photography was different, or I don't know. But, like, I look at those pictures from back in the day, and I'm like, they don't feel... It doesn't feel so long ago. You know what I mean? Like, looking at my mom's yearbooks did and stuff. I don't know. Do you ever think about stuff like that? It's weird, isn't it? But I keep on having these nightmares. I've been having horrible nightmares just a lot recently. And not just because of the stuff that's been going on, but I've been having this overwhelming... I don't know what it is, you guys. But it flashes back and forth from, like, this outer space center... and like satellite where people are like, there's like several people, like 4 people that are living on it, and it has something to do with aliens and alien life forms. And then all of a sudden I'm standing on the edge of this, like, one of those humongous what do you call it? Those huge ships, like, a lot of them are, like, for the Navy and stuff that have, like, the flat, you know what I'm talking about, where, like, helicopters can land and stuff, out in the middle of the ocean, and it's just, like, the waves are horrific, and it's, like, stormy weather, and they're, like, dropping people down, like, into the core of the ocean, and it has something to do with, like, alien life form between outer space being also, like, at the core of the ocean. I keep on having this nightmare about this connection over and over. And the nightmare is me standing on this boat, and it's just these horrible storms and lightning, and they're sending these people down, and I'm watching, like, the whole thing, standing on the edge of this boat. It's so weird. I also don't know why I've been having such vivid dreams lately, but I have been. Somebody said to me the other day, or said, I think this was yesterday in a comment, that I'll be in the middle of talking about something really serious and I whip out this chapstick. You guys, like, legit, I use this chapstick like it's you saw, I use it like it's a legit real chapstick. Like, I really do. I love it. It's like one of my favorites now. Alright, listen, I think I'm going to get off here now and listen to a little bit of my audiobook. And then, go home and go back to bed. Although I'm, like, kind of awake now because I've been up for so long. Or because I went to sleep so early and I slept for so long. But I think I'm going to get off now. How long have I vlogged for? I don't know, 40 minutes or so. And I'll try to do a little bit longer one tomorrow night. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday. Unless you have other plans. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys. And don't forget, this is not a dress rehearsal. I'll see you, girl. You sound like a pirate. I'll see you guys. Oh, and don't forget to look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. Don't forget to pass it on to somebody else and let them know. That's vital. That's important. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.